Previously on Alan Wake, Alice has been kidnapped.
Alan, please help me.
Alice?
You'll do exactly what I say if you ever want to see your wife again.
I can't tell anyone except my agent Barry.
Damn it, Barry, they'll kill her!
You're my best friend, and I'm worried that you're not right in the head.
The ransom is a manuscript I supposedly wrote that's coming true before my eyes.
It happened just the way it was on that page. So dark.
I have found only a few scattered pages.
I want the entire manuscript.
The deadline is in 2 days.
I found Mr. Wake's pages.
Good girl.
Help you folks? Name's Randolph. I'm the manager.
We're looking for Rose. Works as a waitress down at the diner.
Rose, sure. Nice girl. Who wants to know?
I'm Alan Wake.
The writer, huh? I heard on the radio you were visiting. Well, I'll show you her trailer. That Rose, she's a nice girl. Always pays her rent on time.
As I was saying, Al, I found all sorts of weird stuff from the local newspaper's archives. This place is crazy. Disappearances, mysterious deaths, urban legends come true, and, get this, most of this stuff takes place around Cauldron Lake.
Well, you ain't wrong, mister. The Indians thought the lake was a doorway to the underworld. I'm the God-fearing type myself. I don't hold with that sort of thing.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, there was an island there owned by a guy called Thomas Zane. Now, some of the articles I found about him make him out to be a famous writer, but I ran a bunch of searches, couldn't find a single thing he wrote. Zane was heavily into diving, so much so that the place came to be called Diver's Isle. But the volcano under the lake erupted in 1970, and Zane went down with the island.
So, we're at Sparkling River Estates. We're here to look for Rose, because it appears that she has our manuscript. In the meantime, Barry's done quite a bit of research for us, and this beginning part is going to be pretty heavy on the exposition. We're going to get quite a bit of explanation as to kind of the backstory of a bunch of people, but for right now, we're mostly worried about getting our manuscript back from Rose. There's also a giant boat in the middle of this trailer park. Wow.
Yeah, how about that? It was there in the morning, as if it had fallen from the sky. But it would take a tornado to lift something like that. We're damn lucky it didn't crush any of the trailers.
That's really it? That's all you have to say? A boat ends up in the middle of your trailer park, nearly kills a bunch of people, and it's just something to laugh at? Man, he's weird. But if you remember all the way back in episode 1, when Carl Stuckey was doing his crazy rants, this is what he was talking about a lot. The monster dog, the belly burster, the famous dogs.
Come on, mister. I'll take you to Rose's trailer.
We'll get there. But yeah, he's just referencing the manager here who has a hot dog stand in the middle of his trailer park. Also, for some reason, he seems to walk really loudly.
It gets better. A local girl, Barbara Jagger, drowned in Cauldron Lake just a week earlier. They were lovers.
Sure, Jagger's a local spook story. The Scratching Hag comes for you in the dark. Childish stuff like that.
Anyway, Al, I'm just getting to the best part. All of the articles about this stuff were written by Cynthia Weaver. I asked around, and she's that crazy bag lady you met.
What, the lamp lady? She can be a little loopy, but she's not homeless or anything.
Yeah, anyway, she knew both Jagger and Zane before they both died, and she had some kind of a breakdown.
So, it appears the lady who's crazy about keeping the lights on may know a little bit more than we previously thought. Also, it turns out the old lady that's kind of been helping Alan, I guess I wouldn't call it helping, is Barbara Jagger, and the diver is Thomas Zane, who's been helping us out in the kind of weird dream sequences.
Well, mister, this here's Rose's trailer. You mind me asking what you want with her?
We're just here to talk to her, pal.
Barry is pretty hostile today. Huh. Rose Marigold. I get it. It's 'cause it's two flowers. Yeah.
to... Oh dear, Mr. Wake. I'm so glad you're here.
Rose, you have my manuscript?
Oh. Oh, yes. Yes. Please, come in.
Hey, this is really good. Rose,
Yes,
my manuscript. I really need it.
I understand. I know what you need. A muse to inspire you.
Oh, for Barry. She doesn't have anything.
Yeah, hey, Al? Al, what's... Oh...
Barry! What? What?
It's coming for you, hiding in my barber's skin. I'm too weak to stop it. You must turn the lights on.
I promised I'd come visit you and your lovely wife. You must finish what you started. I insist.
You must turn the lights on. Turn the light on.
Back to work, boy.
I felt nauseous, hungover. Only anger kept me going.
I can't tell reality from dream anymore, but it seems I have an imaginary editor to help me. She's an old woman in a funeral dress. I call her Barbara Jagger. She's very strict. I'm writing faster and faster. My manuscript is being heavily revised. The edits are getting very aggressive, and each day there's less of me and more of her. I hate it, but I know she's right. She promises me I can save Alice this way. She knows more of this than I do. About the complex incantation I'm attempting. About this place. She's worked with another writer under similar circumstances, Thomas Zane. The genre of the story seems to be shifting. It's turning into a horror story. I'm getting close. I can feel it.
So, a lot of weird stuff just keeps on happening. We ended up knocked out and in Rose's bedroom where she's got a creepy shrine to Alan. Well, I think it's time that we get out of here. It's getting a little too creepy.
Rose took a day from me. I had less than 12 hours left to meet the kidnapper. All I could do was get Barry into the car, work something out once I got on the road. Barry was out of it. He was way too heavy to carry.
You're right. I deserve more money. I'm so handsome.
Welcome to the Oh Dear Diner. What can I get you today? Coffee?
I couldn't work up much hate for Rose. Something had used her to get to me and left its mark.
First refill is free. Milk and sugar on the counter there. Would you like to hear today's specials? Thank you. A nice day. Come back soon.
I don't think we're coming back here.
My gun and flashlight were gone. I'd have to find a way to get Barry into the car as quickly as possible. There was no time to waste.
So we're finally out of there, but first, we have a radio to listen to.
I just stepped outside to catch a breath of fresh air. Let me tell you, the weather's getting heavy. Nights like this make me especially glad I'm here talking to you and not home in bed. Once the weather takes a turn like this, I can't sleep at all. It's all tangled bed sheets and dark thoughts, punctuated by the occasional plunge into nightmare. Is it just me? Well, perhaps it is. But I hope I can make the night a little bit easier to get through. Caller, you're on KBF FM.
Hey, Pat, it's Walt Snyder.
What's on your mind, Walt?
Well, I am the way you are, but, I can't sleep either, you know? I just been staring out the window here, trying to make sense of it all, but, I ain't been drinking either, you know, I just...
Well, you sound like a man with a problem, Walt.
and I'm just, well...
I heard something like that, Walt.
Yeah, well, Daddy's my best friend, and, they let me out on bail today. And now I'm just alone here at the window, waiting. Man, and there's something in the air tonight, man.
I was just outside looking up at the sky above our broadcast tower thinking the same thing. What are you waiting for, Walt?
I don't know. Something's gonna happen. I think I better go.
Well, Walt, maybe...
No, thanks, Pat.
Well, good luck to you, Walt. Hang in there. Let's take a little break, folks. This weather's really something else, huh?
So it looks like our friend Walt from way back in the jail cell when we turned the lights on for him. He's not doing so well. Seems like his friend Danny is mad at him, I guess. We will actually find out what happens to him later. Not this episode, but we'll find out later.
Oh, you're gonna get it now. God knows what you've done to that poor girl.
This is Agent Nightingale, FBI! Get him up, Hemingway! You're under arrest! You move a muscle, I'll unload right in your goddamn face! Stay right where you are, Slane!
What are? I'm standing right here, you goddamn maniac!
I hated to leave Barry behind, but there was no way I'd miss my appointment with the kidnapper.
Give it up, Mr. Wake. Come on. Make it easy on Don't let him get away.
So, looks like the FBI's decided to get involved with all that's happening up here. And it seems that Agent Nightingale is, well, kind of an asshole. At least he's a penchant for, knowing writers, I guess. That's, supposed to be an insult. But yeah, the opening to this episode is probably the most expository. Like I said, a lot has happened. Right now, we're just on the run from the FBI. We have to find out how to help Barry, because we kind of left him behind, but it's probably too late for him. But the FBI is on a full-on manhunt right now. Yeah, he was right there. You wait 2 seconds and then leave. That's enough time, right? Thankfully, these guys aren't really bad at all. Well, that is to say they're not good. Because they don't really follow you at all. And this entire section, there's no flashlight, there's no gun that we get. We're just on the run from the FBI.
He's gone. Come on, guys. We need to head him off.
And apparently, just by running along a well-worn path in the woods, we're able to escape the FBI. But that does not sound good. Well, shit. Looks like the FBI is going to be in a lot more trouble than they thought. And for each police cruiser that kind of ends up along the way, I'm just going to stop by and listen to the radio, because normally you wouldn't hear this because you're just running away, but I like to stay behind and see Sarah Breaker just completely rip into this guy. And I was trying to go around the car to kind of find the place that the audio was the loudest, but it really never came in all that great. Thankfully the subtitles do stay there the whole time so you can read it. So let's continue, I guess, to run away from the FBI. They're kind of no longer the big problem now that the darkness is out there, but we've still got a kidnapper to go meet, and nothing's really gonna stand in our way. It's not to say there's not going to be a whole lot of trouble along the way.
This way! Over here!
Sounds like they're already having a lot of trouble. Which, I mean, it's good for us, but they're still just doing their job. For all they know, we've been killing a bunch of people. Which, well, we technically have, but it's not like they would understand the situation anyway.
This horror was everywhere I went, circling me. The cops didn't stand a chance. They were after a writer, not a monster.
I've lost contact with most of the men you assigned to me. It's Wake's doing.
Wait, are you seriously telling me that geek writer just took out my deputies? Are you kidding? I mean, have you seen this guy? He wears a tweed jacket. Over.
He's the guy we're chasing. If it's not him...
So, I guess Nightingale is kind of really dumb, because he thinks that we are systematically taking out not only his FBI agents, but all of the local deputies. I guess we're some sort of super spy that can do that, I guess. That's real solid logic he's got going there.
You on the ground. Hold it right there. There's nowhere to run. Freeze!
We did freeze. But that's not good. That is not good at all. So the darkness just took out a helicopter. We won't be heading over that way. I actually think that's over by the gas station, if I remember correctly. But, yeah, it just goes to show that the darkness is not playing around here. And you can actually use this viewfinder to see the crash a bit more clearly. A bit more clearly. All you can really tell is that there's a fire.
I could see the lights of the radio station in the distance.
Well, that doesn't look exactly close. So it looks like we've got another journey through the woods. But before we get on that, more radio.
This is James. Mulligan, Thornton, come in. Over.
Thornton here. James, we got both Wheeler and Rose in custody. They didn't put up a fight or anything. Why, they were... Hey, Mulligan, what are you doing? Come on!
Sit down and give me that. James, Mulligan here. Over. Go ahead, Mulligan. Over. We got Wheeler and Rose here. Wheeler's drunk or hopped up on something. Speaking of which, that Fed had a pretty distinctive whiff of Otis Scotch about him, if you know what I mean. Over. I don't have anything on that, Deputy Mulligan. Over. Well, whatever. Anyway, Rose is just being plain weird here. You better get Doc in to take a look at both. Over. Gotcha. You better get them here quickly. The, Fed's gonna want to interview Wheeler. Over. Oh, yeah, I'll bet he does. Looks like they have a lot in common. Mulligan out.
So, I like Mulligan. He seems to know what's going on and doesn't really care for people like Nightingale. Who, if he was drunk, that would explain a lot.
I imagined that the broadcast tower in the distance was part of the local radio station. Maine seemed like a decent guy. Perhaps he could give me directions to the coal mine.
And I'm sure he'll be happy to see us. Maybe a bit surprised since we refused that interview request way back on the ferry. Oh, cool. A haunted gate.
Unnatural shadows clung to the gate. The darkness that was after me was trying to stop me. I wouldn't get through without a light.
Well, we can always try to get through without a light. Guess that didn't work. I don't know why. But if we go up this hill, there's a giant searchlight up here.
There was no power to the searchlight.
A giant searchlight with no power. But if we follow this cord, or this giant cable back here, we get to this little shed with a generator. So we just need to start this up. And one thing I noticed on the cable running back is there are a lot of leaks. It really shouldn't be sparking that much. But we just point this over by the gate, and
the old generator conked out. I'd have to see if I could fix it and try again.
And it's broken. That doesn't happen all the time. It's actually easier to not break it. But just in case, you just come back here, literally kick the generator back into place, and then start it up again. And since the searchlight was already pointed at the gate, we're ready to go. Except now it kind of conks out for good. Still no flashlights, still no gun. Although I'm not sure how that wire back there was still sparking. Especially since the generator kind of kicked off for good. But I guess that's not something we should really worry about. Oh, another gate. A really loud gate. But we finally have a flashlight. There's nothing over here, no gun, unfortunately. It's pretty dramatic for just being a simple wooden gate, but okay. That works for the darkness.
It took me a moment to recognize the flashbang grenades. They were an ideal weapon for my situation.
Team 1, come in. Over.
The way he says that is kind of strange. Like, they were his flashbangs and he didn't recognize them? Because flashbangs aren't something that a writer from New York should necessarily be able to know. Maybe it's because he's a mystery writer, though. But these are pretty powerful. We're going to want to hold on to them as long as we can. Right like that. So it's basically a flare gun in throwable form. They activate the same way as flares, and we can only have flares or flashbangs active at one time, since they kind of take up the same slot. But flashbangs are pretty powerful, and I think if you actually hit a Taken with a flashbang, it immediately goes off. Otherwise, you kind of have to let it cook for a bit before it does anything. But down here, we've got a couple more flashbangs, and, well, another radio station to listen to.
And here's another call. You're on KBFFM with Pat Maine.
It's Milt Peabody, Pat.
What's on your mind, Milt?
Well, I live near the trailer park, Pat, and there's a big ruckus going on over there.
Well, that's just up the road from me, too. What's going on, do you know?
I don't know, but there's a bunch of police cars there, lots of sirens, a helicopter buzzing around, and I think I heard some gunshots.
Gunshots?
Yes, sir, like from a pistol. So can you find out what's going on? Because it's just next door and they're popping off guns there.
They're still shooting?
No, it was maybe 10, 15 minutes ago. It sounds serious, Pat. I'm telling you, it don't sound like no party.
Well, I'm certainly going to give the station a call, Milt.
Okay.
You'll hear it here as soon as I hear from them.
Okay, thanks.
Well, turns out other people are hearing the same sort of stuff going on at the trailer park. Although, it's kind of hard not to be really concerned when you hear guns being fired, a helicopter crashing, people screaming, cars crashing. You know, the usual around certain places, but I guess not around a quiet, sleepy town like this. Although, is a radio station really the first place you think to call? Or maybe it wasn't his first, but he sounded more like he was wondering what was happening rather than telling. But can you really not recognize the sound of gunfire? I mean, I get it, that you'd want to stay inside when there was gunfire going on, but it seems just like a waste of everyone's time. So if we have stragglers like this, it's kind of a pain because then we have to use another flashbang. It's definitely better to get them all grouped together and then try to take them all out at once. Otherwise, you kind of run out of stuff. But we have our first chest of this episode. And it's kind of hidden back here in this mine shaft. You can see it all the way from back here. Now we're going to want to use this generator right away because it keeps the opening kind of lit so nobody tries to come back here. And sometimes they do get back in this cave, which is a huge pain. But now we've got some flares as well, just in case we need them. And we're going to need them. So even though we've been running from the police, we're kind of going to be heading to those flashing lights over there. And this part wasn't too bad with us going through the woods, but well, I guess that police car wasn't really used by anybody. Huh, what happened to all the tires and stuff? But this will kind of be our last group of guys before we get to the radio station. And yeah, it wasn't too bad going through the woods this time, but we're not really done doing that this episode. There is a lot more to go. But we have the radio station lights in sight, and we're almost there. And of course, there had to be one last big guy here. If you can see the safe haven on the other side of the fence, it's incredibly easy to run right past this guy. But it's a bit more fun to watch him go down to a flashbang. And just like that, we're at the radio station.
I hope Maine could lend me a car to get to the coal mine.
Oh, why, hello, Lorna. What do you have for us?
And this lady calling into the radio station right now is... she's a real bitch, to be honest. She's basically saying that everyone in the trailer park really ought to just kill themselves off.
Well...
They'll have to try to sort themselves out. I'm sorry, but my granddaddy settled in Bright Falls in 1911.
Well, thank you very much for that compassionate viewpoint, Lorna. Oh, here's a little surprise. The famous writer...
And somehow he just knew we were standing there.
I'm going to see if I can talk him into an interview.
Come on in, Mr. Wake. Oh, I'm so glad you could find the time to do this, Mr. Wake.
Nowhere to run now, Dan Brown. You back away from me. Don't hurt her.
Whoa. Everyone calm down. Put the gun down. We're all friends here, right?
Cool your jets, Nightingale. We got him.
What
the hell's the matter with you? There's a civilian in there.